You know, I'm not quite sure how I feel about these Raptors uniforms yet. Give me a second. Yeah, no. I love them. It's the NBA offseason, which means plenty of rumors and speculation is going to dominate the headlines for much of the next few months. And for today's video, I actually wanted to look back at one of these headlines that dominated the NBA circle for a little bit when the NBA was still in Orlando for the bubble. The rumor mill here suggests that it's an open secret the Heat and the Raptors are co-favorites to land Giannis should he hit the free agent market in 2021. The Bucks have already stated that even if Giannis doesn't sign an extension, they're not going to trade him. They're not going to look for any kind of package because obviously the idea there is that whatever on-court product they produce will be enough to entice Giannis to stay with the Bucks. But despite some of what Giannis has even said himself about wanting to stay with the Bucks, we know from recent history with guys like LeBron James, guys like Kevin Durant, even to a certain extent like Kyrie with the Celtics, that superstars will often say all the right things up until the time when push comes to shove and a decision has to be made, and a lot of times they actually do end up leaving. So for the sake of this thought experiment and video, let's say the Bucks once again come up short of the kind of success that Giannis was hoping to have with this team, and he decides to let the free agent market have a crack at stealing him away from Milwaukee. Many people have positioned the Miami Heat as the potential favorites here to lure away the two-time MVP from the Bucks. With the recent finals run, it seems as though their case has only been strengthened. But in spite of that, let me tell you why the former champion Raptors are actually the frontrunners, or should at least be the frontrunners for Giannis instead of the Heat. And the argument against the Heat here really comes down to the on-court fit. And I know what some of you people are going to say right off the bat. But wait, how could a two-time MVP and one of the best players in the game not fit well with Miami? Miami already has that hard-working culture that Giannis already obviously embodies, and they're only really missing somebody at the power forward spot to solidify their starting lineup. Well, the problem here is that none of you are really looking up a magnifying glass to what the on-court product with the Miami Heat and Giannis could potentially look like. Miami's success this season has largely been centered around Jimmy Butler and the emergence of Bam Adebayo. In theory, that's who you're hoping to team up with Jimmy Butler to build a true title contender, a title contender that can actually play with the Lakers and, knock them off in the final series. And take that aforementioned magnifying glass and really stick it up to these three players for a second. At first you might say, well, they're three great players. What's the issue here? And I'm so glad you've asked. And to that, I have my own counter question. How are you gonna have three non-shooting threats on the court together in modern day basketball and max out each of these players' on-court value? None of these guys, and I mean none of these guys, look good from range this season. Jimmy Butler shot one of the worst percentages of his career, connecting on a putrid 24% from downtown. Bam is a virtual non-shooting threat, and I mean he barely attempts them, but on the 0.2 three-pointers he attempts a game, he's hitting 14%. Giannis, and this is going to sound crazy for a bit, but it kind of goes to my point. Giannis was actually the best shooter of these three guys last season, which isn't a comforting thought whatsoever. At 30%, he is the best shooter of this potential quote-unquote big three. And even if the two other guys on the floor with these players are bona fide shooters, the spacing sounds awful in theory for this team, and it would greatly take away from a lot of what most of those guys try to do when they're on the basketball court. And if you don't see the problem here, then I mean, what can I say? You're beyond reasoning with. All of this is without even mentioning how much overlap there is between some of the things that, say, Giannis and Bam both do on the court. And they would really be minimalizing some of each other's effectiveness by being on the court together. Same can be said to a certain extent as well of Jimmy and Giannis. With this potential big three in all likelihood, they would be a nightmare defensively. I'll absolutely give you that. They would be scary to look across the court at and be like, damn, we gotta get buckets on this team. But offensively, there's just way more problems here than Heat fans and casual NBA fans would really like to admit. Now, let's look at Toronto. Let's look at a system like Nick Nurse's, which has strongly emphasized shooting, something that we know Giannis needs to be surrounded by in order to maximize what he can do on the court offensively as an individual. Let's look at somebody like Pascal Siakam, who granted he struggled as the main star this postseason, but he has also shown in the past that he can be an excellent complement as a second scoring option on a championship winning team. Right, Kawhi?
What's up, baby?
What it do, baby?
Yeah.
And finally, let's look at the tremendous cap situation that Toronto is going to have moving forward. Obviously, Masai Ujiri is going to manage that thing so he can have as much flexibility as possible moving into next year's free agency when Giannis's contract with the Bucks will obviously be up. There's a lot to like about the fit in Toronto, truly. And Toronto can do so much to surround Giannis with a team, a coach, and a system that would absolutely give him everything he needs to thrive. Most importantly, I think it would really be the coach, considering that, you know, Nick Nurse actually knows how to make in-game adjustments, unlike his current coach in Milwaukee. What's up, Mike? Wow, I'm taking a lot of shots this video. Anyways, granted, I know Siakam and Giannis do currently play the same position, but in modern day basketball, I don't really feel like that's as big of a problem as some people want to potentially make it out to be. You could run Giannis and Pascal Siakam as the forward combo and potentially bring back OG and slide him to the 2 spot and go big from there. You get a shooting center, you get your point guard, and you have a great team. Or you could do it the other way around. You could experiment with Giannis at the 5 spot. This would likely allow you to surround him with great shooting options from the 1 through the 4 spot. And it will really give him all the room that he needs offensively to score inside. Plus, it gives him the chance to really maximize, his role defensively as the weak side help defender, which was, I think, the biggest contributing factor into his Defensive Player of the Year case this year. So you're really giving him a chance to truly shine on both ends of the court, no matter what you really do here. I'm not saying Toronto is the perfect fit, but given that they'll have a lot of money coming off the books just in time for his free agency and all of the factors that have been discussed leading up to this, it's a much better fit, in my genuine, slightly biased opinion, but it is a much better fit than what the Heat present themselves with and what they could offer to Giannis. Masai Ujiri leads one of the best front offices in all of basketball up here in Toronto. He'll surely be able to keep the cap situation flexible enough that he can tailor his team to Giannis and make sure that he can produce in every single way imaginable that he wants to on the court and position himself with a true opportunity to finally be an NBA champion. I'm not a religious man, but if I were, I would pray that somehow, some way, this video finds itself into the hands of Giannis so he can really listen to some of the things I've discussed, because I truly do think that Giannis and Raptors jersey would be a sight to behold, and it would be in the better interests of everybody to have that union truly happen. But nonetheless, that does it for me today. What do you folks think? Do you think Giannis would be a great fit on the Raptors? Comment below, let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video if you can, I do really appreciate it. Share it once again, I really do value that more than you will ever know. And other than that, folks, I am out for the day.